Well, to be honest, I kind of wanted to go with the Rob vote, but Justin kind of twisted our arm and made us go Maddie. It was a bad move, but I couldn't do anything about it. I had to take a back seat and let Chantel and Justin fight it out, and they made the wrong decision, and I had to go along with it. I mean, there's no way I could have known who had it. I thought Maddie didn't have it, so I went along with it. But it was the wrong decision, and it is what it is. Chantel's gone, so my vote's free. It's 3-3. I have a lot of different options. I need to win immunity. I looked for the idol. I didn't find it. I think Maddie got it. So, you know, it is what it is. I need to win. I need to win exemption, and then if I don't win exemption, then I either need to go along and vote out Ryan, or I need to try to force them to draw rocks. But we'll see how it goes. Still got a lot of options, so we'll see.
All right, so tonight was basically the other side got their gun loaded and took one of ours out. But honestly, it's not bad for me because they took out Chantel in the end, and she's who I wanted out tomorrow night anyway. So her going tonight, it makes it a little more difficult, I think, because I have to now convince more people to do things that they probably didn't have planned to begin with. But Chantel going, I'm hoping it can just switch the two of them around and I can get Maddie tomorrow night. The one good thing is Maddie correctly playing her compass tonight does give her more of this image that, look, people are going to vote for her to win, so we have to take her out. So I'm hoping that that new ability to put a target on her will put more people's eyes on her to say, yeah, we have to take her out. So I pushed hard to keep Rob in this game. They wanted Rob out. The three of them, original Ethans, were ready to vote Rob out of this game, and I put my foot down. Like I couldn't say no, but I was pushing hard for it to be Maddie. And honestly, I don't mind that she stayed, like I said, but as long as Rob stayed, that's my number one concern. Had Rob gone and Maddie, Chantel, Daniel, Gideon, Ryan all stayed in this game, I think my game is basically over. I don't think any of them want to work with me, and the fact that I at least have told Rob that I am trying to protect him gives me a little bit more leeway that hopefully someone's willing to work in this game with me. Because at this point, since Jennifer left, I don't really have anyone that's said to me, like, yes, I'm with you. I tried to do that with Brian, and I still am in a way, I think. We have voted together, but I can't beat him in the end, so I can't go too far with him. So my goal is that I can convince this group that Maddie's got to be the one to go. I don't know if they're all going to get on board with it. I might be. I think my best bet is try and convince Ryan and Gideon that we have to do it, and maybe I can flip Rob. The problem is a compass got put into play, and it's found. I found it, and it was already taken. Once again, I am not good with these advantages. So a compass being in play makes it, again, a threat of who do we vote. Like, this whole vote. So I'm hoping that it was Daniel that found it, because I think it was Daniel or Gideon. I trust it more in Daniel's hands than Gideon's, because I think Daniel's a little more honest about things. Gideon will play that thing against me, I think. So yeah. The game just keeps getting more interesting. I mean, this thing has been lighting up since Kyle went home. We had one calm before the storm. Nice 8-1 vote. Everyone's all kumbaya, and then shit hit the fan, and I feel like I was the one that turned it on. And the last 2 votes they've been interesting. But I think at this point, interesting crossroads are best for my game, because it means shit's getting stirred up, and without any real tight alliance, that's what I need to continue to play this game. I need shit to keep getting stirred up, and for me to somehow making it out on top.
I cannot believe I'm still in this game. Y'all, I had to play my compass tonight, but like, I played it correctly, and that is a move in itself. I played that correctly, and I survived. I would have gone home. Daniel and I didn't know who the votes were going to be going towards, and they also could have gone towards Rob, so we were just like hoping that none of the votes were going towards Rob. Rob was trying to convince everyone to like throw the votes towards Daniel, so I thought it was gonna be that they were gonna go for Daniel, but they went for me. I am super glad that we played it. We played ours. Ryan played his. Chantel went home. I am sad that we kind of had to vote against each other tonight. But you know what? Like, I respect her game, and like, she did have my back, and like, I tried to have hers, and it's okay. It's really okay. It's all good. I'm just happy that I made it another day. The final 6, I didn't even think I was gonna make it past the first vote. So like, I just feel like a real like underdog in this situation, and like, I'm not winning any challenges, and I don't know why people think I'm a threat, but like, okay. Sure. I do have like a pretty decent social game. I'm pretty good at connecting with people, and I've always known that. So I think I really want to get Ryan out, try to get Ryan out again. This kid is unbelievable. I cannot get him out. I cannot. And then Justin can't. It's so crazy how the tables have turned with that one, because I really wanted to work with him, and now I'm like, I don't want you within an arm's reach of me. Get away from me. Go. No, thank you. So I'm feeling pretty good. I hope I can actually sleep tonight, because I actually played that correctly, and I was kind of stressed about it, and I couldn't sleep. So yeah. Everything's good. I'm excited to have a day off tomorrow to recuperate. Thursday, we shall find out who got the other compass that came into play tonight, because we just saw that clue come through. I could not find it in time, and I found it after the fact, and I can't believe I didn't see it the first time I looked on that Instagram page. So Maddie, come on, get with the program. So Thursday, we'll figure out who got that. I hope I figure it out, and I hope it's someone that I want to work with, and it's not Justin or Ryan, or even Rob. I feel like Rob would do some kind of crazy something to try to flip things around. So anyway, I'm proud of me, and I did it, and I survived another day. So proud of me. All right, good night.
Let me tell you one of the great things about this game. One night you could be at the very, very bottom of the dog pile, and the next night you are riding cloud 9, you execute a plan, everyone comes together, and then you claw your way back up from the bottom of the dog pile to like middling space. I'll start at the beginning. We just had our trivia challenge, which was a combination of trivia based off stuff that happened in the game, such as who was the first team captain to select a member for their party. That answer was Janet. You know, who was the first party member selected, or the last party member selected, and the last one was Jennifer. And if you got a question right, you got to participate in a round of memory where there was a PowerPoint slide up or a Google slide up with 42 different options, 42 different boxes. And you could select 2 boxes at a time. And every time you found a correct match, just like the childhood game of memory, you get a point. The first person to get 3 points in a round gets exemption tonight. We go through, it's pretty intense. I get, I think, 1 point. Did I get 2? No, I think it was just 1 point. Maddie gets 2 points. A couple of folks got 2 points. And then Justin cinches the win with his whopping 3 points. So we end up going back to our rendezvous camp in our shelter. And I immediately get into a room with Justin because I'm thinking, you know what? I want to find out what his thought process is and what's going on in his head. He tells me, I want to keep, ultimately he's like, I am probably voting with our core 4, which is him, so Justin, Chantel, Ryan, and Gideon. And then he tells me, people are probably going to be voting either you, Daniel, or Maddie, which obviously, we're the 3 on the outside of that majority alliance. And he wants to sit at the end with me and Daniel. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I can see why you'd want to do that because I would put you in a great position against 2 folks who haven't had any immunity wins and haven't had any major gameplays the way you have. And so he's telling me that he is trying to get all the votes to go onto Maddie. Keep in mind, they need to be 4 strong in order to get any of us 3 out. Because the 3 of us, we're working together. We've got no other plan, no other option but to work together. I then get into a room with Chantel, and Chantel tells me that Justin's been throwing my name out, Daniel's name out, but he's getting real hard for Maddie. Tracks, that's about everything he told me. And she tells me, I don't want to vote you, and I don't want to vote my girl Maddie out. I want to vote Daniel. So my options appear to be either Daniel or Maddie. And I'm thinking, I don't want either of these 2 to go. These are my final 3. They're the people I would really want. Whether I would win against them or not is immaterial. I don't want to go 2 finals with anyone else on this tribe. I'll do it if I have to, but I don't want to do it. So I go back and I immediately blab everything I hear to Daniel and to Maddie, telling them, hey, it's going to be one of you 2's. And Daniel tells me, well, what if I had a compass? Great. Why is no one telling me the advantages that they have until like the day that they're planning on using it? And his plan is, all right, I'm going to use my compass on myself. Maddie's going to use her compass on her. And we have to just make sure that the votes are directed to either one of us and not you so that you stay alive, which thank you. But also, could you maybe think about throwing it my way? Like if you know the votes are coming to me, there's no harm. And then we're thinking we're going to put some votes on Ryan, but he has a potential compass. So we'll have 1 or 2 rogue votes onto Chantel. Okay, that's great. That's fine. I go and then talk to Chantel again, and she tells me I'm not able to swing the votes from Maddie. And she's saying it's most likely going to be Maddie going home. And I'm like, F, this absolutely stinks. Like, I am super dejected. Like, I really wanted to keep her in. And she's like, I know, but we couldn't do it. And I'm like, all right, like, well, fuck it. Like, this is what it is. So we go into Crossroads. And it has been I'm facing the possibility that my 2 allies in this game have compasses that they will be using on themselves tonight. Ryan, who is our potential target for this vote, has a compass that he may be using tonight. It could be me going home. Like, it very easily could be me who has to sashay away through the pearly gates of Expedition Online and join the jury. And I don't want to join the jury. I want to be at the finals to pitch my case to the jury and tell them how I played my under the radar GOAT game in order to make it and survive to the end. And so I'm thinking, you know what? If this is my final night here, I'm going to have a show. I'm going to make my casting worth it. And entertain the jury, entertain the moderators, and entertain you, the viewer. So, as soon as the question gets asked of Gideon of, do you think that there are tribal lines or that things are a little blurred? He says, oh, things are a little blurred. And I have a little explosive moment. Things are not blurred. Everyone just told me that it's going to be the four of them voting strong against myself, Maddie, or Daniel. Period. Full stop. And it's just like, why are we pretending to lie when we all know we've all been in these conversations? There's no reason. None. Like, what are you trying to do? Like, hide your feelings and hide your strategy at Crossroads when the jury is watching who can really make decisions? Anyway, then this turns into a whole kind of shouting match in between Daniel, Maddie, myself, and the others of the core four. Now, my frustrations are mostly targeted at, to be fair, Gideon and Ryan. Look, they've been frustrating me in this game, and I kind of, I don't want to say I let loose. It's not like I had an explosion or anything, but I did want to put on a show, and I did want to make sure that if I were to leave this game, I am at least doing what I can to be a memorable persona. Anyway, I'm keeping this short because I am so winded, but we go into voting. Actually, scratch that. So, we are about to go into voting, and we're still having this back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And Gideon goes and tells us, hey, Daniel, Rob, let's do the plan. And the plan is that we're all voting Ryan. And so Daniel says as much during this altercation, this spat. He goes, all right, the plan, for those of you who don't know, the three of us, Daniel, Rob, Maddie, and Gideon, are now going to be voting Ryan. So I go into the voting booth, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, are we actually voting Ryan? Because I don't know if I'm down for that, if we know he potentially has a compass to use. And I write down Chantel's name. And I want to say, Chantel, I'm sorry about that. That really was more of an insurance policy to make sure that I didn't go home than it was a good faith effort to get you out. I would have rather played with you in the game still. Unfortunately, that just wasn't the way the cards played out tonight. We come back in, and then before the votes are read, Docs has his question of us all of if you have any hidden advantages, now's your time to play it. In unison, Daniel, Maddie, and Ryan unmute themselves and say, we are playing our stuff. Daniel and Maddie have compasses. Ryan has an heirloom advantage, which we find out can only be used at the final 11 and final 7 crossroads. So this was his last and only time to utilize this advantage to keep himself alive. And then we realize every one of these advantages is real. And Doc starts reading the votes. 1 vote Ryan. 4 votes Maddie, so 5 votes total, leading to overall 2 votes left. Daniel and me, Chantel. And by that I mean Daniel and I voted for Chantel. And it was really satisfying for that idol play to come together and to keep myself in the game more than anything else. I don't want Chantel out, but I want to be in. And that's the dilemma in this. If you want to survive for the next one, you have to make hard choices and get rid of people who you would ordinarily want to keep playing with. Then we get to our shelter again after Crossroads, and it is overall a good vibe. A lot of folks have realized what happens at Crossroads is a Crossroads thing. None of that emotion is anything we're bringing back in. But towards the end, Gideon and Daniel decide to go off into a little private room to have a little chat. Turns out there was a secret advantage that was hidden. According to Justin, it was a compass. I don't know how true that was, but it looked like they had to battle it out for something, because we saw that there were at least 3 or 4 other mods with them simultaneously watching and streaming this entire thing go down. So now we're all aware that there is something out there, potentially a compass, potentially some other sort of vote steal advantage, and it looks like one of the two of them has it, either Daniel or Gideon. And based off that, and with our current 3-3 split, that could decide the fate of power in this game. So I'm hoping that Daniel has it and that we're able to utilize it for ourselves. But that said, it's also completely public who has it. At least it will be once we get back online after Wednesday's soft day off. My power alliance is still Daniel, Maddie, myself. On the other side, I think I've rebuilt some sort of trust with Justin. So he is my number 3, I guess, right now. Followed by Ryan and Gideon, who are currently vying for last place. Ryan very clearly doesn't trust me anymore and made a big show out of it at Crossroads. You know, I don't blame him. And I'm okay with him not liking me. It's not just that I'm okay with him not trusting me. I'm okay with him not liking me as a person right now. Just because that's how I feel this has kind of been going. Anyway, we're at Final 6 now, which is wild. I did not think I'd be making it to the jury phase when I started this game, and now I am within spitting distance of Final Tribal and making my argument to the jury as to why I deserve to win the entire game. I still need to get there, of course, but the fact that I can almost see the finish line and that I think Justin wants to bring me, and I know Daniel and Maddie would both want to bring me over the other folks, is crazy. Absolutely crazy. I just need to make sure that we get everyone else up. So hopefully I can win an exemption challenge for once to have something on my resume besides being carried and saved by my allies, because right now it is a GOAT game and I don't want to have nothing to show for it at final. Good night.